rage in full voice in Ann Arbor. It's a top 20 in-state showdown as Tim Hardaway Jr. and the Wolverines take on their neighbors from a little bit north. The Spartans are in town from Michigan State. Welcome you to Super Tuesday, presented by KFC. And number 9, Michigan State, number 19, Michigan get us going from Ann Arbor. The first time in 14 years these teams meet as ranked teams, and just the 7th time in school history. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the start of the Big Ten week. Mike Tirico, along with former Indiana coach Dan Dockett. Samantha Steele going to join us in a little bit. Well, this hasn't been a rivalry for all that long in terms of quality of both teams. That's why we've been over 5,000 days since they've met as top 10 teams. Michigan swept the series last year, Dan, but both teams are coming off of road losses, so they need to turn things around here tonight.
They do. Michigan absolutely got out tough by Iowa on the road. And you know what? Michigan State, you rarely say this, but Michigan State got out tough by Northwestern. Davide Coletti just ripped the ball out of the interior guys for Michigan State, and Tom Izzo was not happy. Was not happy with Nix, Payne, or Green with their toughness.
The coaches have something to address here. What about your one-on-one for this match?
Well, my one-on-one is the coaches. There are a lot of ways to lose. You can lose like Ohio State did last week, where Brandon Paul went crazy for 43. But when you lose by getting out tough, it is incumbent on the coaches to make the team understand this will not happen again. Tom Izzo, you know the success he's had, 6 Final Fours, a national championship. John Beilein, as good a coach as there is in the country. It's on them to get their team bouncing back and being tough.
All right, Danny, here we go with the starting lineups tonight. For the Spartans, playing the 3 guards, Keith Appling, whose defense has been really good. Brandon Wood, the senior transfer, and Brandon Dawson. Well, Draymond Green do it all, and Adrian Payne. And for the homestanding Wolverines, the freshman Trey Burke shoots a lot, but he's been one of the leaders, along with Tim Hardaway Jr. Those 2 seniors, Novak and Douglas, along with Jordan Morgan at center. You get Douglas back in the starting lineup. He's only started once this year. As you look at Ted Valentine, Terry Weimer, and Colonel Watson are officials here tonight. The tap controlled by the Spartans. Stu Douglas in the starting lineup. Evan Smotrich out of the starting lineup. He has struggled mightily from the field in the last 3 games. There's touch inside for Payne. And Dawson's shot is blocked, and here's Jordan Morgan for Michigan. We said before, Michigan swept the season series last year. They're 4-2. The Spartans lead the Big Ten 4-1. The senior Novak slip inside to Morgan. Still plenty of time in the shot clock. What do you think of Douglas being back in the starting lineup?
Sometimes you just need a senior, and this is a senior-type game. You mentioned Smotrich. He's 2 for his last 19 over his last 3 games. They just got tired of seeing him miss. Let's go with a senior.
The lefty Novak opens the game with a 3. And Dan, you think that's big tonight? Michigan's got to hit its outside shot.
There's no doubt Michigan is not shot the ball. Well, this is big as well. Payne has to play well on the other end.
It was pitched down on the drive. First basket for the Spartans by Brandon Dawson, the freshman out of Gary, Indiana.
Well, 2 straight possessions for Michigan State. They went to Adrian Payne. Adrian Payne was non-existent in their loss to Northwestern. He played 11 minutes, had no energy. Tom Izzo's been all over him since. They went right to him first 2 plays. Tim
Hardaway Jr. tries to get going from the outside. He's off the mark. Really, nobody shot well for Michigan on Saturday in the loss by 16 at Iowa, 75-59. And their offense looked really sluggish in that game as well.
I thought everything about Michigan looked sluggish. I thought Iowa was playing for their scholarships. Michigan was just playing to win a basketball game. There's a big difference in desperation.
Payne popped out, and he's off the mark. Novak chases it down for Michigan. Good freshman here, Trey Burke, almost caught from behind. Morgan runs the floor. If they get him involved, they're a much better team.
Mike, that was on Adrian Payne. Adrian Payne missed the shot and then sulked as he ran down the floor. He didn't sprint back, get to the rim, and take away transition.
Woods feed inside. Morgan hustled to get around and get the deflection. Still plenty of time on the clock for Brandon Dawson, but another deflection by Stu Douglas.
You know, John Beeline knew this was going to be a highly charged, energetic environment. Douglas has played in a bunch of them, and it also gives Smotrich, coming off the bench, maybe the opportunity to relax and see the game a little bit.
Off the screen, Douglas to the basket.
Douglas just flew right past Brandon Dawson, and Brandon Dawson's defense against Northwestern was a problem as well. They took advantage of Dawson, Northwestern did, with back cuts there. Douglas took advantage of Dawson by straight driving him.
Green on the pitch. And Appling will back it out with a shot clock at 12. His speed dribble is really good against Northwestern over the weekend. Got inside and called for the travel. So a couple of turnovers for the Spartans.
Well, let's go back and show you Adrian Payne. You see him right here. He had just missed a shot. Now, Payne is going to just talk, doesn't sprint back, and Jordan Morgan goes right past him. You got it. You miss a shot, it's like an outfielder in baseball, infield. You make an error or you strike out, don't take it with you. Just play, and Payne did not play, and he's got to come out.
He didn't have the benefit of the replay, but he's being told the same thing that you just said on the sideline. Payne out. Austin Thornton, the 6'5" guard, checks in for the Spartans. Michigan 14-4 on the season. Burke a three. Bang! And the freshman Burke, who scored 18 a game on average over the last 5, has given Michigan an early 8-point lead.
Talked to Jeff Meyer, assistant coach at Michigan, before the game. Said, what do you need to do? He said, we need to get off to a great start like we did last year. Last year here, 10-1. This year, 10-2.
Appling on the take, uses the window. Love the sophomore from Pershing High School in Detroit, Michigan's game, Keith Appling.
Yeah, Keith Appling has really matured. I thought he took a step back against Northwestern in terms of leadership. Not in terms of how he played, but in terms of helping Draymond Green be a leader for Michigan State.
On the cut, Tim Hardaway Jr. guarded by Wood. Come down gimpy on that right leg, and he's going to limp on over to the sideline. We'll watch him this timeout. 4:11 gone by. Tim Sr. watching Jr. and his team up 6. Good start to Super Tuesday for Michigan, leading the Spartans by 6. We welcome to the broadcast and to the Big Ten, Samantha Steele.
Thanks, Mike. I got the chance to catch up with Keith Appling before the game. He said 2 main things he needs to do tonight. One of them is talk. He needs to be a better communicator. So much so that Tom Izzo actually brought in Eric Snow to his house to meet with his point guard to talk about being vocal out on the court. The other issue was he knew he was going to be on Trey Burke tonight. He said he watched a ton of film on Trey and knows that he can't gamble against the guy. He's such a good ball handler. He has to be solid throughout the night. Early struggles, though, guys. Trey Burke, pretty impressive here.
Sam, it's a great point, and you talk about a reservoir to have in the Spartan family with Tom Izzo, so long an assistant and a head coach as well. He's got the reservoir of great point guards like Mateen Cleaves and Magic Johnson and Eric Snow at his disposal. And Eric visiting had a chance to really, Dan, do something that player to player might be better than coach to player. Tell them what you need from your position.
There's no question. When a player, whether he's a former player, current player, tells you, and Appling did. Appling won away in terms of leadership late in the Northwestern game.
Novak out of the corner. And Michigan's open hot. They've hit 3 threes so far. A couple for Novak. It's 13-4.
What a great play by Jordan Morgan. 6'10", 250 pounds, in the air, fired the ball to the corner, and you could just see by his body language, Morgan, that he's ready to play tonight.
We saw Hardaway before the last timeout, a little gimpy, come back out, watched him on the offensive set, looked okay. Now he chases Thornton into the corner. Austin missed the 3, and Burke a rebound. And guards rebounding, always important when you're playing the Spartans. Hardaway lifted and launching. That 3 off the mark.
That's just a bad shot.
Why?
Well, Thornton was right in front of him. There was no movement into the offense, and he was kind of just, it was more of a selfish shot, Mike. There's a certain rhythm that you get into when you are dribbling and going to shoot. He didn't have that rhythm. It was his turn to shoot. And when it's your turn to shoot, that's a bad shot.
See the hot start for the Wolverines. 3 of those 5 made field goals have been 3s. Douglas got caught up in the air, finds Novak. Those 2 seniors, really a foundation for this portion of the Michigan program. Shot clock at 5. Going to have to be a quick one. It's going to be Novak to the basket. Made a great move. Did everything but make the hoop.
Isn't it amazing when the shot clock runs down, the guy just puts his head down, how he can get to the rim?
And it seemed to part for him. There's the guy who does it all for the Spartans. Draymond Green, no foul. And the feed inside to Derek Nix. And the lefty from Detroit's on the board.
You know, you mentioned Novak and Stuart Douglas. Novak didn't have any scholarship offers. He was going to be a baseball player. In fact, tried to walk on at Indiana to be a baseball player. And Stuart Douglas was going to go to Harvard. And a kid from Carmel, Indiana, played in the summertime, got hot a few games. John Beilein saw him, thought he was a perfect fit, and he is.
Work on the take. Boy, he has such good use of that speed to get to the basket.
He just gets low. He reminds you of Jordan Taylor at Northwest or Wisconsin. He just gets lower than you, and his burst is a little bit deceiving going either way.
Michigan's offense, if you put 6 minutes together from their last game, didn't look as good as they have in the first 6.5 here tonight. Nick sees 2. And Jordan Morgan went up to get the rebound and slapped it back off the board and in. 15-8 Michigan. I mentioned Burke. He's the point guard, but he's taken 60 shots in the last 4 games. Samantha talked about what a great matchup it is with Appling. Appling has been lauded throughout the conference as one of the best defenders on the perimeter.
No question. It started last year with Keith Appling.
On the switch, they left him free, and Burke missed the 3.
Mike, they got lucky there, Michigan State. Knicks had switched. They're going to switch late clock ball screens.
Brandon wouldn't know. Knicks try to keep it alive. And it comes down in the hands of Stu Douglas for Michigan. A nice reservoir to have in your bench. Go to a guy who's played over 100 games when you need a little more stability in your starting lineup.
Yeah, and Douglas has been a stabilizing guy. Make a shot or 2, but knows the offense, knows every play John Beilein has. Well, you can see Tim Hardaway Jr. getting a little frustrated here. He hasn't had any room, hasn't any ran for him.
Quick triple by Brandon Wood off the mark, but Draymond Green comes down the lane to clean it up. Tom Izzo had a great comment after the game at Northwestern, the loss over the weekend. He said, I failed as a coach because I didn't have anything where Green could get the rebound, bring the ball up, pass it to himself, and score.
And that's what I said earlier. Draymond Green in that game with Northwestern got on an island. It was like he was competing harder than everybody else. His effort was different, and that should never be for Michigan State or any other school.
Novak has it knocked away. It's Michigan ball when we come back. Wolverines up 5, and Carl Ravitch with you in the studio tonight. Ravitch.
Hi, Michael. Thank you. At the half, by the way, we're going to have Scott Drew join us. Want to let you know what else is going on. Georgetown and DePaul, 12:46 to go on ESPN2, a 2-point game on ESPNU. LSU out in front of Auburn. Back to Michigan State and Michigan after this break.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by KFC. Bring something different to the party with KFC sauceless hot wings, now just 50 cents each. And in part by Farmers Insurance. Visit farmers.com to find an agent. We are insurance, we are farmers. And the all-new Volkswagen Passat, 2012 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
As the new $20 million player development center, where the Michigan men's and women's teams practice. It's attached to what is now Chrysler Center, used to be Chrysler Arena. It's got a tour of it, and it connects right through that tunnel. It is outstanding and a big plus for this Michigan program. What a week it was in the Big Ten. We were there a week ago, Dan, in Champaign. The 43 for Brandon Paul, and Illinois beat number 5 Ohio State. Then number 8 Indiana at home 2 nights later, defeated by Minnesota. The 2 other ranked teams in the Big Ten to start the week, Michigan lost to Iowa, and the Spartans lost to Northwestern on Saturday. So 4 teams started the week ranked, all 4 going down last week.
How about Minnesota? No wins going into the week. It's 2 road wins.
How about Matt Ogric with a great drive to the basket as he came in off the bench at that timeout, extending the lead to 7. Vogrich and Blake McClymans came in for Michigan at that timeout. McClymans 22, right there guarding Adrian Payne for the Spartans. Payne patiently goes up over McClymans.
That's just what has to happen for Michigan State to continue to develop as a team. I mean, Adrian Payne, Tom Izzo will tell you, is the biggest, longest, most athletic guy he's ever had. He's never had a guy like him. He makes himself available, has a decent touch. Sometimes he forgets where he is and makes mistakes.
On the drive, Burke kicked it back out for Novak. Draymond Green all over that. Blocked the shot. Michigan ball with 16 to shoot. And again, here's Sam.
Yeah, guys, I was in that last huddle over there for Michigan. Hearing Coach Beeline talk to Tim Hardaway Jr., telling him you've got to value the ball. You can't push. He thought he was pressing a little bit. In a game like this, it's kind of easy to do. The crowd gets riled up, and sometimes so do you. He was pushed a little. Said you just need to value the ball.
0 for 3 shooting thus far and getting a chance to settle back into the game, Dan.
Yeah, he's coming off a 2 for 13 night, 0 for 8 from the three-point line. He wanted it's a function of him wanting to do well, so you got to slow him down a little bit sometimes.
The speed of Burke to the basket. And a chance for a three-point play. So Travis Trice comes in for Keith Appling, and right away it's a green uniform like a green light for Burke to the basket.
You have to keep your shoulders square. You see Adrian Payne leaves the ball. Adrian Payne was there with his shoulders squared to Burke, but was more worried about getting back to McLimus. #1 rule on defense is stop the basketball. Know where it is and stop it. And Tom Izzo went off, as he should have, on Adrian Payne after that play.
How many years have you been around Big Ten basketball? Playing,
This is my 20th.
I bet you've never seen this. 10:36 left. That was the first foul in a Big Ten conference game. Never.
I promise you, particularly this year.
Probably not the last.
Yeah.
Green rattles it out. A lot of Michigan activity on the boards, and that's always an emphasis point when you play against Michigan State, but it's easy to talk about in the shoot-around and hard to do.
Yeah, two things. Every coach that's ever coached against Michigan State talks about #1, offensive glass, #2, get back in transition because Michigan will push it. Michigan State will push it, excuse me.
Yeah, Evan Smotrich, normally a starter, coming off the bench here tonight. He's checked in. And he takes the three. Off the mark. He has been ice cold. Green had a hit ahead, but Trice couldn't find him, and he gets it to Brandon Wooden. Those two guards work in the corner.
I will say this, Adrian Payne is battling, and he does want the ball.
And a timeout taken. Michigan State had two guards stuck in the corner there. Trice and Wood weren't on the same page. Spartans take a timeout halfway through the half. Down 7. Michigan's led the whole way. They're up 7 right now. Remind you, as the college basketball continues through the week on Thursday night on ESPN. We'll have a doubleheader for you from the ACC in the Thursday night showcase. Wake Forest will take on Duke and then North Carolina. And how do you explain what happened to them against Florida State? They'll take on Virginia Tech, and that is not an easy game for them taking on the Hokies.
No, there is absolutely no explanation for what happened to North Carolina, Florida State, other than you just tip your hat to Florida State, say congratulations, and move on. It happens to you. Coach long enough, those kind of things are going to happen. 1-3-1 here for Michigan.
A sloppy pass and a pushing foul call on Hardaway on the sideline, bails out Wood. And it's the first foul of the night on Michigan.
Michigan State here needs to go into Adrian Payne. You're going to see off the 1-3-1. Trice gets it, just a little bit of a touch, kind of the old force-out rule in basketball. But here, against this 1-3-1, you penetrate the gap. Now they're going back to man-to-man. But this ball, regardless of the defense, needs to go into Adrian Payne to keep him alive and well in this game.
Wood from the outside. Spartans have not hit a perimeter shot here in the first half of the half, and rebounded by Burke, who's been very active as per usual for Michigan. Smotrich out of the corner, gets to the basket. He cannot get anything to go, but that'll help. It's goaltending.
Well, the two referees out top, Teddy Valentine, didn't see it. Terry Weimer called it from underneath, and you can clearly see there, ball hit the backboard, then Adrian Payne went up and got it.
Yep, still sitting over the cylinder. Right there, just hanging off the lip of the rim. Wolverines trying to win a third consecutive game over their in-state rival. Out of the corner, Draymond Green, when you need something, go to that guy. Go to your senior from Saginaw, Michigan. 6th in the conference in scoring, leading the conference in rebounding.
He does everything. He leads. He gets guys in the proper positions against zones, against man-to-man. He runs the set for Tom Izzo. I think he's a 5-tool guy if you were going to use baseball terms for what he's able to do.
You're always coming up with those good ones. First turnover of the night for Michigan. Appling takes it all the way in and gets the Spartans back within 4.
You know, Mike, we're talking on the other end earlier about Adrian Payne letting his offense. Tim Hardaway Jr. is completely out of this game. He's arguing with his coach. He didn't get back on defense to take a charge. For Michigan to win, Tim Hardaway's going to have to forget about himself and think about Michigan.
0 for 3 so far for Hardaway. 7 in the conference and scoring. Smotrich to the basket. So this kid was 2 of 19 from the field last 3 games. Got the goaltended basket to go. And then get yourself to the rim and good things happen.
When you're 2 for 19, do something different. Don't shoot, drive. 2 times in a row, Smotrich drove and got a bucket.
All right, Carl, thank you very much. Here it is, Michigan leading Michigan State by 6. You know, we talk about in-state and you have rivalries. Inherently, if you say rivalry in the Big Ten, you think of Michigan and Ohio State in football. It's clearly not that in basketball. And Tom Izzo had some very interesting comments earlier in this week talking about how he has great respect for John Beilein and for Michigan as a university, but he wants to beat him. He doesn't like him because that's part of what is inherent in this state when you bleed green or you bleed maize and blue.
When I played and coached in Indiana, it was Bob Knight and Gene Cady, and they respected the tar out of each other. They didn't necessarily like each other, but they wanted nothing more than to beat each other, and it made for a fun rivalry for not only the coaches, the players, the fans, everybody.
A lot of Michigan kids playing in this game here tonight. Green tried to feed Nixon side on the turnover. Here comes Zach Novak, the lefty senior for Michigan. Wolverines have led most of the way. They're on top by 7. So the key stats go by as we have 7.5 remaining in this first half. Mike Tirico, Dan Dockich, Samantha Steele, glad you're with us. The Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor. Smotrich, that one is short. And here goes the speedy Appling right at Hardaway, and he let him get all the way to the basket.
Same thing. Hardaway got lucky there.
Wow.
He was not.
Hardaway inside on the cut. On the foul. Smotrich didn't get the foul or the hoop. Little space. A 3 knocked down by Travis Trice, the freshman out of Ohio.
Well, that's the way Michigan State wants to play. As we said earlier, anytime you play Michigan State, you got to talk about offensive rebounding, and you've got to talk about transition.
Spartans back within 4. Smotrich took that early and off the mark from the outside. He'll come out of the game after that shot. Out of the corner, Wood. He misfires and rebounded by Smotrich. The Michigan team that over the last couple of games has struggled offensively. They beat Wisconsin 69-51. Wisconsin was ice cold in that game. Then Northwestern they beat in overtime 66-64 and got very lucky to get that home win in here about a week ago. Hardaway off the top. Good defense by Appling, but the foul called as he had him with the body. Let's remind you about our college basketball lineup looking ahead to the weekend on Saturday. You're going to see Missouri taking on Baylor as Baylor loses last night to the ranked, not from the ranks of the unbeaten, and the team that's still unbeaten, one of the last 2, #1 Syracuse, with a road test against Notre Dame, all part of our big Saturday menu of college basketball on ESPN.
Do you agree with Dick Vitale's statement last night that Syracuse will not lose a regular season game?
No.
Gotta go to UConn, right?
Road games. And you know, the people who say, well, has Syracuse played outside of the state of New York? I've heard that for years, and that has nothing to do. We've seen them travel and play well in the conference season. Just the rigors of the conference and going on the road. Maybe the Big East isn't as good as it was over the last couple of years, but the game at Cincinnati will be tough. Anything on the road Still games with Georgetown, UConn, and Louisville down the stretch.
The one thing I will say, a lot of coaches talk about my team doesn't care who scores, and it's mostly nonsense. Syracuse legitimately looks that way to me. They don't care, so that translates to the road.
Wood finds Green inside. There's Hardaway. Maybe that'll get him go. Terrific block by Hardaway helping. Burke on the push. Nice feed to Morgan. And Burke read it quickly and took it away. And got the two. Tripping foul called on Novak. We submit the last 10 seconds of noise for those who say there's no great atmosphere in this building.
Well, you'll see right here, there goes Hardaway Jr. making his presence felt on defense. Burke just exploded right here. Smart play by Stuart Douglas. We talked about Morgan earlier. He's the tune to the game. And then Draymond Green just flipped the ball inbounds. I mean, as a senior, you got to be careful when a player like Burke is around. He just flipped it. Burke read it, stole it, made it.
Green from the outside, missed the three. Job by Brandon Kearney to go up and get it. He would do more of that. Feed Knicks inside. Couldn't finish, but stuck with it and scored.
When things are going crazy around you on the road, you got to throw the ball inside. If it's not Knicks, then Green has to go to the left block where he's the best weapon in the Big Ten. The ball on the block, key for Michigan State moving forward. Their jump shots look bad, Mike. They don't look good.
I agree. Work the freshman, Appling the sophomore. The defensive recovery by Appling. Burke got by. And his pass to Hardaway was tough because Appling was trailing him the whole way.
You remember earlier in the game, Tom Izzo went nuts on Adrian Payne when they had a ball screen and Payne left the ball. That time, Nix did a great job of keeping his shoulders squared to Burke, not allowing him, walling him off, corralling him, not letting him get to the rim, forcing a turnover.
Hardaway to the Michigan bench. Matt Vogrich, the junior out of Lake Forest, Illinois, comes back in. No reaction to the first pass in the half court defensively as the Wolverines went to trap. Travis Trice, born leader, son of a coach.
Yeah, his dad was a good player. His dad played at Butler. His dad, after transferring from Purdue, great guy, too.
Tough shot. Stu Douglas the rebound. I like the move of Douglas back in the lineup tonight. He's given Michigan a lot of stuff that you will not see with the number nerds on the stat sheet.
This is a senior game. This is a big, it's a senior game. It's an experienced, calm game. You need a calm guy. Douglas is it.
Morgan went a little bit quick on that one. The rebound pulled down by Kearney with 3.5 to go. Good take by Appling. It seems like his game has gotten even better from late November up until the middle of January.
It's gotten better since mid-December when I had him. Like, he's more confident, particularly going from left to right. But I still say in this game, the ball's going to have to go down on the block to either Nix, Payne, or certainly Green for Michigan State to win.
Burke's first Michigan State game. Kid from Ohio turned it over. Third Michigan turnover of the night. Nice hands defensively by Douglas to knock it out of bounds. Spartan ball on the other side of this timeout.
Well, I don't know how fast this looks on television, but here live, Keith Appling looks like Usain Bolt. He looks like a sprinter going down the lane and laying it in.
All right, Carl, thank you. Well, it's been a great year for not just Scott Drew, but all the programs there. The 10-3 football season with RG3 winning the Heisman, the undefeated ladies team in the top 10 in the first setback. They're not the first team to go into Lawrence and go into Allen Fieldhouse and get knocked off.
Yeah, and I think Baylor and Scott Drew, Baylor probably the most talented team I've seen in the country. But you're right. I mean, look, Lawrence, Kansas. And Bill Self is just doing an amazing job with his team. But why does that surprise anybody? It shouldn't. I'm telling you, the ball has to go down there. Whether it's Payne, Green, or Nix. Now, I'm going to stop beating that dead horse, but it has to go.
It's fine. A couple of field goals now for Payne. It's a 6-0 run for State. on ESPNU before the game. That was your X factor tonight, getting the ball inside. So we are listening to everything you say. The unofficial mayor of the Big Ten, Dan Dockich. Shot clock at 11. See if Michigan can get a good shot. No Hardaway on the floor. Burke with the screen from Morgan. Got a little space, and Morgan rolls to the basket and draws the foul. Well, we talked about Baylor being back on our air on Saturday, Thursday night. You'll see Wake Forest take on Duke in that North Carolina-Virginia Tech game, coming off the 30-plus point loss on Saturday at Florida State. A 33-point loss, the worst in Chapel Hill, in the time in Chapel Hill for Roy Williams. It's a Florida State team we saw play Michigan State earlier in the season, and you would have never thought that Florida State could score in the 90s if you watched them that game.
One thing, Leonard Hamilton is tough on tough as a coach, and he gets his guys playing hard, certainly defensively. They are a bit of a struggle at times offensively, but when you have a game like North Carolina, you have game day coming in there, no surprise they won. How they did it was.
Kearney's first foul didn't cost him anything as Morgan missed both free throws. $1:54 to go at a 4-point Wolverine lead. Michigan has led from the start here tonight. Wood coming baseline, had it shut off nicely by Morgan, but a good find in the pitch. And a Kearney three makes it a 1-point game. Just his third three on the season.
Michigan tried to get cute there. They played man-to-man until the end of the possession. Then they went to zone. And on the drive, Hardaway Jr. just got whipped on the left baseline. And Wood was able to find Kearney on the right baseline.
It's a 9-0 run here for the Spartans to tighten this one up. And the defensive end has helped get the job done. Douglas fouled. Give him the bang in the bucket. And all three. 27-3 of the season for Stu Douglas.
Off the high ball screen, Payne doesn't square his shoulders. Kearney late to Douglas. You let Douglas get his feet set, step into a three. He is a deadly three-point shooter. Sometimes his misses come when he's running off screens going away from the basket, but get him faced up, stepping in is dynamite.
Couple of fouls on Kearney. He comes to the bench. Travis Trice is in. There's Stu Douglas, who is 6th on the all-time make list. Three-pointers in Michigan history, 4th in terms of three-point attempts in Wolverine history. Takes the lead back out to a 5 as we hit the 1-minute mark in the first half. Tom Izzo trying to scream down, get a play call. Good defense by Douglas here on the quick Appling. Appling now accelerates. What a drive by Trice, taken away. Hardaway, all the way. And the foul.
That was great defense by Stuart Douglas. Stuart Douglas was not going to let Appling go to his right. Then eventually he did, but he was crowded. And in the crowd, Trice turned the ball over. That was, I talk about why a senior is in the game. A senior is in the game because he understands scouting report, Mike. He understands tendencies far better than anybody else, or at least he should.
Three points on the night for Hardaway, all at the line.
This was after the drive, but you see all the Michigan guys were in the lane because initially Stuart Douglas would not let Appling go to his right. And when you delay the action that your opponent wants to do, the next action is more jammed up. It's just the way basketball flows.
So you help your help defense.
Exactly.
You can use that next clinic if you
really
want to.
Help
your help.
Spectacular.
Those of us who are helpless find these things. Timeout taken here as Michigan takes a 7-point lead here late in this half. Meaning of this game both ways. When you look at a Michigan State team atop the conference at 4-1, a third of the way through, you better protect your home court in this league this year.
Well, you have to. And for Michigan, a couple things. They want this to be a rivalry. There's in-state recruiting ramifications, NCAA tournament ramifications, competing down the stretch for a Big Ten championship. A lot of people nationally talk about the NCAA tournament and seeding. The Big Ten coaches, they are about the Big Ten championship. Michigan wants to play the last week, as all schools do, for a Big Ten title. That's your goal, and that's what makes this game huge.
You look at the standings in the Big Ten. It's very hard to figure year. Illinois, we saw get the victory over Ohio State, the Brandon Paul 43-point game. The Illini have not played since, but they and Michigan State with one loss. Who's the best team in the conference now that we're a third of the way through?
Well, I think Ohio State's the best team, but Illinois gets Sam Maniscalco back. Remember, the point guard who's battling an ankle, 9 days off. They will get him back. They will help that. I think the second best team is Michigan State. Indiana has to prove they can go on the road to win, but watch out for Wisconsin. They were desperate. They went into Purdue, got a big win in Mackey, came back, grinded one out against Nebraska.
Michigan sitting on only 2 team fouls, Dan. Would you use some here?
I think you have to. I think you cannot let this go down and just run an even possession here.
So Burke can be aggressive on Travis Trice. 2.5 difference, game and shot clock. Gordon has it with the clock at 5. Draymond Green got an open look. Short on the 3. Novak let it go out of bounds with 3.2 to go. Michigan already burned it. Use it or lose it. First half timeout.
Well, again, another jump shot. Surprising that Michigan didn't foul. Let the possession run out. Draymond Green got a terrific look.
Burke put it on the deck, look for some space, take a 65-footer. Put it off the window as a very good and well-played half comes to an end. Michigan State, not too bad, 13 of 29 shooting and 3 3-pointers, but the Wolverines shoot 54% from the field, close the half 6-0 to take a 7-point lead. And here's Samantha.
Coach, we saw a fast-paced game there early. How do you assess your transition defense in the first?
Oh, it's really hard because Appling's so quick with the ball, and then Green beats everybody down the floor. That gets everybody a seal up, and he's getting right to the basket. So they're very good in their transition offense. We got to get better at our defense.
Tim Hardaway Jr. seemed a little bit frustrated early. What do you think it's going to take to get him going?
He's always been a very good second-half player. He sort of looks at the game, feels the game, and then usually responds.
All right, I'll let you get in there. Thanks, Coach. Guys?
All right, Sam, thank you. John Beilein trying to get 3 in a row over the Spartans at the break. Michigan leads Michigan State by 7. To Carl Ravitch and special guest Scott Drew with the UPS Halftime Report. A little summary of the first half there, set for the second half. Michigan leads by 7. Mike Tirico, Dan Gottlieb, Samantha Steele. So you're Michigan State. You predicate everything you've done over the years. Physical, get to the free throw line. You shoot no free throws in the first half. So how does Tom Izzo address that for the last 20?
2 things. Keep pushing the ball because Keith Appling has been fast, throwing, and getting down the floor. Second thing, though, you got to establish, I think, Draymond Green on the left block. I've said this for 2 years. It's the most efficient weapon in the Big Ten. Draymond Green, left block, either scoring, getting fouled or both, or passing out of it. Ball has to go inside.
All right, Samantha Steele had a chance to talk to Tom Izzo. Sam, what do you say?
Guys, pretty much more of the same from what we heard of him before the game tonight. He said turnovers are the issue, not just the number of turnovers, but what he called turnovers for touchdowns. You know, coaches always like to use metaphors from other people's sports. He said every time we're turning it over, they're scoring. We gave up 8 points on turnovers. His other issue is they're not stopping the penetration inside. They've got to do that in the second.
That's what we need. One more stat. Turnovers for touchdowns. Thanks, Sam.
What that means for people is it's one thing to throw the ball away out of bounds. You know, a lob pass, throw it out of bounds. Another thing to throw it where the defense has a running start to transition into offense.
Michigan, Dan, started the first half on a 13-4 run, ended the half on a 6-0 run. Novak will try to start this half. He's off the mark on a 3, rebounded by Brandon Wood, works in the backcourt with Keith Appling. There's the go-to guy. Draymond Green shut off immediately by Jordan Morgan. And Wood out of the corner hit the side. And here go the Wolverines with Douglas to Hardaway. To the basket. It was a late rise by Hardaway.
No double pump, no look dunk.
And John Beilein sitting next to Football Hall of Famer and Michigan former coach Lloyd Carr, and they both looked at each other and said, wow, at the same time. Good double, pitched out to Appling. Plenty of time on the shot clock for the Spartans. Lefty Nix got in the paint. Gives the other hand and scored.
Yeah, just keep throwing it down there. Mike, the first possession of the game for Michigan State, Derek Nix was wide open. They didn't get him the ball. He was wide open again. Wood shot it off the side of the backboard. So, 2 straight possessions. Second time they got it to Nix. First time, not so much.
First time these teams are meeting as both ranked teams since back on February 17, 1998. 14-plus years. That's the year that Michigan State started its consecutive NCAA tournament streak. 14 years in a row, the Spartans have been in the bracket on Selection Sunday. It'll be Novak late in the clock. Good jump stop. Beautiful basket for the senior, Zach Novak.
Wasn't bad defense. Draymond Green came over and helped Nix out. But as we say, Mark Jackson said, good offense beats good defense every time. Great offense by Novak.
Used the Knicks screen. Morgan came out for defensive help. And this is going to go the other way. They've got Appling on the foul.
Well, Hardaway really struggled in 2 areas, offensively and with attitude in the first half. But this gets him going here. The double pump, no look dunk. And then here, Derek Nix kind of fishing around, figures, well, I have room. Let's go to the right hand. Now, the dunk, I think, got Hardaway going. Great position. Held his ground outside the arc. Good charge.
3 fouls and Appling. He's got to be very careful. That ball knocked out of bounds by Appling. 3 fouls, and Tom's going to get him here on the bench.
This is big because Michigan State, when they have struggled offensively in the last 6 or 7 games, have gone to a side ball screen, left side to bring Keith Appling into the middle of the floor. Appling going out takes away one of their major weapons.
In a game where 9 fouls have been called combined, 3 of them are on one of the engines on the offense for Michigan State. Their point guard Appling has made a great transition this year from a wing player to a point on both ends, offense and defense.
I think Rick Boyage, the head of officials in the Big Ten, got my memo.
You think?
Quit calling fouls, let him play.
Douglas out of the corner, missed the 3. Hardaway kept it alive, but Wood takes it the other way. He got bumped and the foul called on Trey Burke of Michigan, his first.
A good move by Brandon Wood to get the ball in transition and take it right at Trey Burke. Trey Burke was kind of going along with Wood. When you are a defender in transition and you are tied with the offensive player, you're actually behind because you're going backwards. The offensive player is sprinting forward. He's going to beat you and you are going to foul. Trey Burke needed to get back, establish position, and let Wood come to him.
The Michigan State team that shoots 23 free throws a game took 23 minutes to get there first. There's a couple of Michigan coaches sitting right next to each other. You got Lloyd Carr over there. He's right in the middle of it. And great to see the recently inducted College Football Hall of Famer. His wife Lori's a couple of seats down from Lloyd over next to that Michigan bench.
Like I always thought Lloyd Carr handled himself with as much class as any coach in college football history.
He has, and he and his wife Lori have done an unbelievable job raising money for the Mott Children's Hospital attached to the University of Michigan that just opened about a month or so ago, and it has been a labor of love for a lot of the people with Michigan football roots, and what a job Lloyd did to lead the charge. Hardaway inside, pitched it out. Novak triple. Michigan hit those shots in the first half. They've missed a couple of threes here, and it's an 8-point Wolverine lead. Nix gets doubled right away, but right at Smotrich, he ripped it away. Good job by Smotrich, couldn't handle it in transition. And a chance for Travis Trice, 4-on-1. Dawson couldn't finish. Brandon Wood getting it and trying to, somebody's got to settle it down. Give it to the senior. Give Draymond to just restore order. Would you like Green a little more involved on the offensive end, Dan?
You know, I've been saying it all game. Great pass by Brandon Wood. Good cut, Brandon Dawson off the high post, and Brandon Wood delivered. Yeah, Wood, like I said, he's so efficient and effective on the left block. We have not seen him down there all game.
I just feel like he's just not touching it enough, even in the half-court sets they have.
He touched it last time, but he's 25 feet away getting things settled down. He should be the guy making plays, not settling things down.
Hardaway wanted that all his own, looking for the foul call on Brandon Wood. Didn't get it. 6-point lead. One of these teams will have back-to-back losses in about a 45-minute snap. There is Green with the knockdown from the right side. It's a 4-point game.
Great play by Brandon Dawson. But Brandon Dawson is acting like a freshman right now. He got a lob for a dunk, made a terrific play, and he's asking out because he's tired. You can't be tired as an 18-year-old kid in a game like this.
It's another one, the freshman out of Columbus. High school teammate of Jared Sullinger. Trey Burke takes it back up to a half dozen. A dead ball timeout coming as we're under 16 minutes. Next whistle. Knicks camped down a long time. Smotrich takes it away from Knicks for the second straight time. It's 3-on-2. It's Hardaway. Smotrich at the rim couldn't tip it in. Douglas going to settle it. Now he's going to take it. It's the three, and Green will push for the Spartans. Wood got his feet messed up. Called for the travel as we hit.
That time Burke got all the way back. Let's show you the lob coming out for Brandon Dawson. You're going to see Dawson right here. He makes a pass. In basketball, the most dangerous guy is the man who made the pass. Usually he gets a screen. Dawson got a screen. Wood delivered the ball.
Some pretty good football players in recent Michigan football history. In the house, Larry Foote currently plays for the Steelers, as does Lamar Woodley. I don't know why they're not sitting next to each other. Maybe 7 months with each other.
Maybe that was the Steelers' problem.
And recent vintage, the big man on campus in Ann Arbor, Denard Robinson, who announced last week he's going to come back. Part of that Michigan team. Lloyd Carr and, of course, Rich Rodriguez replaced Lloyd, but then a very good year with Brady Hoke taking over Michigan, getting them to the Sugar Bowl, and that is under the craw of the Michigan State fans as well. Denard right in the middle of all the student section action, too. Right in it.
How about the job Brady Hoke has done, though? Took Ball State, went undefeated regular season, went out and turned around a dead program in San Diego State, and revived Michigan. Just a terrific football coach and a great guy.
Well, Mark D'Antonio, Michigan State had an outstanding year. They beat Michigan head-to-head for the 4th straight year. Yet Michigan State, even though they got to the Big Ten championship game, goaltending called on Payne. They count the basket for Burke. Michigan State fans were very upset that Michigan got to the BCS game. Michigan State went to the Outback Bowl, but they played a great game beating Georgia. Both teams won a bowl game. They both finished in the top 12 for the first time in history in the same year. So things are good in East Lansing and Ann Arbor, and the rivalry on every level is at another high. 8-point lead for the Wolverines. They've led by as many as 10. Spartans have not led here tonight. Try to go high-low there with Green and Payne and Morgan. Had an arm lock, so the foul called on Jordan. And we remind you that Thursday night here on ESPN, we'll have the ACC doubleheader on our Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. Wake Forest and Cameron taking on Duke in North Carolina against Virginia Tech as the Tar Heels are in bounce-back mode. Here comes Green to the basket. Hardaway waiting. It's going to go the other way. Got an offensive foul. Teddy Valentine going to put it on the Spartan senior.
That's 2 charges this half that Tim Hardaway Jr. has drawn. You'll see Draymond Green kind of bullies Novak, but there's Hardaway Jr. second time. Feet outside the arc. Good position. Good for him, because he really struggled in a number of areas. As you see Denard Robinson changing clothes.
He went to the Maze Range shirt. Right in the middle. That is neat to see. As popular a football player as there has been on this campus in the last few years, right in the middle of the students. Novak missed the catch. And on the turnover. 5th one for the Wolverines tonight. Spartan ball.
Mike, that high ball screen has given Adrian Payne trouble all year. That was the best he has guarded. He came off the ball screener, got down in a stance, moved his feet, and Payne is 6'11", 240 pounds, and Mike, he can move. He can move laterally. He is quick. He is athletic. Need more of that from him. That's great defense by Jordan Morgan.
Turnover 10 for the Spartans.
That's 2 passes on the high-low. Mike, there's a rule of thumb on a high-low. If you're going to miss long. Miss over the head of the man in the post. You miss short, it's a turnover. Usually it's a bucket down the other end.
Burke thought he had a second. He's got a Novak screen. Green on a switch. Burke right to the basket. A nice feed from Morgan. Well, that's Michigan State to a T. Great recovery inside with their defense.
And that was Draymond Green. Adrian Payne helped him, and Green went right back to the position.
And Draymond just said ahead of a screen on Burke. We got some words here with Novak and Payne as they are separated quickly on that whistle. Let's go over to Samantha Steve.
Yeah, guys, two things Coach Beilein was harping on in that last timeout. One, he wants his guys to control their emotions. Sometimes they let this crowd, their own crowd, get the best of them and they press too much. The other was on ball screens. He said, guys, you need to re-screen. Michigan State's hedging hard, so if you come back to the ball, it should be an open drive to the basket. We'll see if they're able to do it here.
That's absolutely right, Samantha. Great job, because that is what Michigan is trying to do, and they're trying to use Adrian Payne out front. He's been the guy they've kind of pinpointed for the ball screens.
Wolverines offense got a bit quiet over the last few minutes. Burke out of the corner, and a freshman got them all. And that's the largest lead of the night for the Wolverines, up 11 with 12 to go.
This is a bad lineup for Michigan State, Mike. Why? Well, they don't have anybody that they can count on other than this move right here. Right's ball screen.
Half-wing protected, pitched it out. Thornton out of the corner with a silencer. A three from the corner for the senior, Austin Thornton.
Like I said, that's a great lineup for Michigan State. Penetrate pitch, let Thornton knock in a shot.
Come on, you've coached. You have all the answers, don't you?
I do now.
Undefeated over here, right?
Yes, 2 years worth.
Vitale's greatest line, 32 years undefeated. The speed of Burke cannot contain Trice. And we get a whistle. Here's the under 12 timeout. 11 and a half to go. Spartans got to find something on the offensive end. Down 8. We got you, Ravi. We'll be here waiting for you. Game 2. But Denard Robinson didn't go to the NFL. Skill set's unique, but why go to the NFL when you can have this kind of fun in college? Look at this guy.
And he's having a blast, hanging out.
Well,
why would you ever leave college? I'm all for staying. I want to go back. Rodney Dangerfield, old school, right?
Michigan State down 8, 11 and a half to go. Spartans have a back-to-back losses staring them here if they can't pull this one out. But they've made a run in the middle of the first half. And Michigan's offense has not been as sharp from the outside. Douglas on the take. He misfired. Austin Thornton in there for the rebound.
That's the first unsenior-like play for Stuart Douglas. He kind of forced that, and that's not his game.
Draymond Green, 7 points, 9 boards on the bench for Michigan State here. Getting the break, fuel him up for the run. Appling with 3 personal fouls, also out. So arguably the 2 best Spartans not on the floor. I should say Appling back out of the timeout. Thornton out of the corner, hit one. Michigan recovers to him quickly, and the shot clock at 4. Wood had it deflected by Novak. Here go the 2 seniors, Douglas and Novak. Did a great job by Appling getting back. Thornton calling for it on his far side. He really wanted it. Balancing the floor on the right.
Jordan Morgan, Mike, is playing a great defensive game. 2 areas, coming out and hedging the ball screen. You'll see it right here. Staying with the ball screen.
Made it a tough release for Appling, who made it anyway.
Well, Jordan Morgan is right there. All you can do is, be there, get as big as you can, and Appling just a better player. The other thing Jordan Morgan's doing is he's denying the post. He's not letting Knicks touch the ball.
And you pointed out earlier, those catches get Michigan State going offensively inside. And Morgan, who at times gets forgotten by this Michigan offense, has made his presence known throughout the game.
Yeah, he was a non-factor in their loss in Iowa on both ends of the floor.
Shot clock at 6. Burke, short. Well defended. So Michigan in a little dry spell here on offense. And out of the corner, Wood hit the 3.
Mike, that's the first time Brandon Wood stepped into his shot quickly, and the first time the ball rolled off his middle 3 fingers, not off the side of his hand. He's been struggling with that all night long.
8-0 for the Sparties responding on the road. It's a 3-point game. An 8-0 run by Michigan State has tightened this one to a 3-point game. Now they've got to find a way to contain Trey Burke.
Well, Trey Burke has been sensational. 3 early baskets in the second half. He's 7 for 9 all day. In a game like this against a tough Michigan State team, the point guard, the freshman, is going to be huge down the stretch. When you watch Trey Burke, when he gets low, really good things happen. His problems come sometimes he raises up. When he raises up, makes mistakes, low, really good. Cody Zeller and Trey Burke are the two best freshmen so far in the Big Ten, but I'm going to tell you something. Kid White for Iowa is going to be on anybody's level. He is terrific. Freshman out of Strongsville, Ohio, is absolutely, in my opinion, sensational. He'll be as good as any moving forward in the Big Ten.
They did a good job in the game against Michigan that the Wolverines lost 75-59 a couple of days ago. White ended up with a dozen points coming off the bench for Fran McCaffrey there. Smotrich able to control. Shot clock at 12. Vogrich in the game for Michigan. And Novak with the clock running down. Burke came out to get it. Novak took it over Green. And he hits.
Draymond Green's better than that. That was a great play by Novak. And the clock going to his strength, going to his left. But Draymond Green has to know that. He has to know, end of clock, Novak is putting his head down and driving it with his left hand.
Stop the 8-0 run. You see Michigan State much better from the field. Didn't have a bad first half shooting from the field. Slightly under 50%. Kearney turned away by Vogrich, who kicks it.
What is happening here, Mike, is Michigan State is setting a high ball screen. And Nix is setting the screen. And Michigan is not caring about Nix going into the lane. They're helping opposite, but not really caring about him. The size of Michigan on the ball screen is not allowing Appling to find Nix. And then the ball goes to the baseline, you have a problem.
Kick happened with 10, so the clock resets to 15.
This should be Thornton coming off the screen.
Sophomore Appling goes around the freshman Burke. Good job defensively in the air. Michigan comes back the other way, up 5 with the ball.
And Burke never changes expression. He just plays.
Basketball in Ohio last year. 1,400 points in his high school career, 97-5. Helps to be a teammate of Jared Sullinger, but the guy was a big part of the winning.
And J.D. Weatherspoon, the dynamic athlete at Ohio State as well. It's Sat Sullinger, Jared's father, the coach.
Shot clock down at 5. It is Burke. Good protect. Smotrich rolling to the basket. Lost it off his knee. It'll be Spartan ball on the other side. We're under 8. Michigan looking for 3 in a row over Michigan State.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by KFC. Bring something different to the party with KFC sauceless hot wings. Now just 50 cents each. And in part by ING.
Yeah, plenty more Carl, and he's part of the team that's so good in the half court, especially their man defense. We'll see that coming up next year on ESPN. Tim Hardaway Sr. watching his son, and perhaps you've heard the story over the years of their relationship strained at times as Tim Hardaway Sr. was so much a part of what Junior was doing, always trying to push him harder. And tonight, Dan Dockage, it was Hardaway who needed to be pushed to get a little bit better play going.
Well, he was bad in the first half. He coming off a 2 for 13 now. I think he forced things and got frustrated, but credit John Beeline and the staff. They reeled him back in at halftime. He's only 1 for 6, but he's made passes. He's taken 2 charges. He's been certainly more engaged second half.
See if he becomes an offensive factor in the game in the final 7 minutes. Knicks down low, put up a rough shot. Foul's going to be called on a push on the opposite side, the weak side rebound action on Jordan Morgan. He's got 2 team fouls here with 7:38 to go, only 3 each way. Michigan's only been whistled for 5 fouls the entire game. Morgan, the first Wolverine with multiple fouls, so no foul trouble with 7.5 to go. Wood goes to Green. Novak guarding. Doubling comes. Rotates right back to Green, who finds Nix inside. What a wonderful job of ball movement by the Spartans.
And it all starts with Draymond Green on the left block. He doesn't have to score. He plays out of double teams as well as anybody in the country. He did it twice in that possession. Second time off reversal, you see he's going to find Nix. That's the second time in one possession that Draymond Green very comfortable playing out of a double. I'm telling you, Mike, Michigan State, left block, Draymond Green, it's where they have to go. zone.
So you see the lack of free throw attempts in this game for Michigan State. You know, sometimes you'll see that if you didn't watch a game, you look at the box score and say, well, did Michigan State not play its typical physical brand of ball?
I just thought they've settled for too many jump shots. And Nix is not a guy that goes on the block really and gets fouled. Payne neither. Everything else has been pretty much a jump shot or something in transition.
2-point game. Spartans have not led.
Interesting here for Michigan State putting Kearney in to take a swing at Trey Burke. They've had Trice on him. They've had Appling now with 3 fouls.
Yeah, Appling has Hardaway, so Hardaway went right at him inside, drew the double, kicked it out to Vogrich. And Vogrich missed a 3. Michigan's gone ice cold from behind the line in the second half. Spartans can tie or take the lead. And out of the corner for 3 in the lead. Brandon Kearney puts Michigan State on top by 1. And a timeout taken by the Wolverines. So Michigan State was down 11 just about 6 minutes ago, and a 14-2 comeback has given Michigan State an edge with 6:42 to go. And I turn to this guy who's a coach in this league and say, why? Why did it turn around?
Well, I think the defense is certainly more active for Michigan State. They've done a better job with the high ball screen coming to the ball. Now, having said that, Michigan has also missed some open shots that maybe they would hit the one by Vogrich right there. And then the second thing is offensively, they move the ball better. Michigan State, when they get dribbling after the initial ball screen, really stagnates. They'll set a ball screen for Appling on the left side. But if you see more dribbling after that, it's too stagnant. They move the ball with the pass after the initial ball screen much better.
Michigan State leading the league, 4-1 in the conference, 15-3 overall, and we'll have them Saturday back up in East Lansing against Purdue. And really only that trip to Illinois we'll see on a Super Tuesday in 2 weeks. Their only venture outside the state here over about a 3-week stretch, so a great time for Michigan State to rest up, get a little advantage, and try to hang on to this lead in the conference, because the back end gets very tough for Tom Izzo's team.
You know, that game with Purdue is going to be very physical, so a Tuesday game as opposed to a Wednesday game gives you an extra day to get yourself ready for a tough physical Purdue team.
Michigan just 1 of 8 shooting threes in the second half. Burke the penetration, pitch to Hardaway. 1 of 9 shooting threes in the half, and the Spartans make it 1 and done. And this game has changed quickly.
He's just screaming, Hardaway, is at Terry Weimer after that shot, saying he got hit on the arm.
Hardaway 1 of 7 from the field here tonight.
Now let's see if the ball moves as opposed to stay still.
Kearney hit that shot in the left corner to give the Spartans a lead. This is the bottom of your screen. The clock at 10. It'll be Appling on Burke. Using a screen from Green. Switch by Novak. Appling a runner. Got it. 3-point Spartan lead.
Well, Appling saw Novak there and didn't even concern himself with him. Just blew right past him.
8 in a row for the road team from East Lansing. Burke. Nothing going on except talent. Oh, Burke hit a 3. All even at 52 with 5:22 to go. Thornton comes off the screen. Good rotation in the ball. Kearney guarded by Douglas, shot clock at 10. Thornton comes to the other side. He responds with a 3.
They played out of the post 2 times. And Austin Thornton, who had hit one earlier, again, like Stuart Douglas, when he gets his feet set and steps into it, pretty effective.
And look at Izzo. Tom's like he's playing defense on that trip. And we see it year after year. It doesn't get old. 2 wins from 400. Nice crack to the basket by Douglas. No basket, no foul. Oh, the foul is called. The whistle either came a little bit late or you couldn't hear it because of the crowd. Ted Valentine has the goaltend on that, or the foul, just the foul. On Green.
How deep is this, Mike? That is deep in the NBA deep. That's on the M. And after a couple times going inside, you see Novak gets lost. Austin Thornton, who had hit one earlier, does what a senior's supposed to do, knocking a big shot on the road against your rival.
I felt bad that I wasn't sure what happened there, the goaltender, the foul, and I feel a little better because Beeline's yelling at one official for the goaltend, and Draymond Green's talking to Ted Valentine about the foul. So nobody thinks anything happened there.
I know this. I know it was a really good cut by Stuart Douglas on a back cut. Draymond Green had switched to Douglas. Douglas read it, back cut him. If there was a foul, Stuart Douglas should have made the layup, and this should have been a three-point play. Instead, they're going to get one out of this at best. That's a big deal in this game.
Yeah, and he's a good free throw shooter. Yeah. You know, 20 of 24 on the season, good over his career. You see Michigan State, they're not a deep bench, but their benches help bring them back, and the better shot selection and ball movement in this second half, shooting at a high percentage. Knicks inside over Hardaway. Draymond Green the feed.
That's the ball screen we talked about earlier. When Knicks is setting the ball screen and they're not paying attention to him. Appling couldn't get the ball to Knicks. Green did.
13 for Knicks, 7 here in the half. The lead is 4, biggest for the Spartans. On the putback, Morgan, but no, we got a foul before that as Green sprawls out. And they help up the leader of the Spartans. Saturday, full day of college hoop for you on ESPN. Some of the headlines: Missouri, Baylor, 2 teams in the top 5, 4-1 in the Big 12, and then undefeated 20-0 Syracuse in South Bend take on Notre Dame. Of course, you have ESPN 3, the streaming live, the ESPN Watch app. If you're away from your TV, you don't have to be away from all the great games. And there's 2 missed free throws in the last 5 minutes already for Michigan.
Back in the game now for Michigan State.
Payne will come in. Knicks will get a break. He's had a good half.
Yeah, he has. He's been very active. He's done what Tom Izzo's asked him to do. He had the ball stripped twice by Smotrich, but didn't get affected by it. Kept playing.
Burke, 76% shooter in his freshman season. He splits the pair as well, so the couple of missed free throws means the deficit is 3. Not 1 for Michigan as we dive under 4 minutes in regulation.
1-3-1 here by Michigan.
Staple of Beeline programs over the years. Michigan State reviewed this in their shoot-around earlier this morning here at the Chrysler Center. The catch on the sideline by Wood with the clock at 8. Appling way away with Morgan stepping out. It's going to go the other way. They're going to call an offensive foul on the Spartans with 3:35 to go. Tom Izzo's team is clawed back. Will Beeline's team find its offense heading to a great finish in front of the Maze Rage in Ann Arbor? All right, Ravi, thank you. 3-point game. You see Keith Appling on the bench. Important stretch here. He picked up his 4th foul when called for the charge there, Dan.
Yeah, and one coach really happy. You see John Beeline right there. And the other coach, he's going to shoot things.
That means they have to make a change. Trice is in at the point. Hardaway from the top. Hits the jumper, hits the 2. 1-point game, 3:20 to go. Things you should know, Michigan State has a whole bunch of timeouts. They have 4. Michigan only has 4 team fouls, so they can be aggressive defensively, even though they're down 1.
This is going left block, Draymond Green.
Guarded by Zach Novak, senior on senior. Nice find inside for Payne, and Hardaway with a pre-shot foul. So it looks like it'll be State ball out of bounds. While we have a second Samantha steal.
Yeah, guys, Coach Beeline wants them to attack the rim here on offense to get them into the bonus. And then on defense, he said we've got to switch the 4-5 screen because Draymond's trapping it. I talked to Draymond before the game, and I asked him how this thing was going to turn out. He said, no matter what happens, whoever wins this game is going to be who plays the toughest. And Dan, as you said earlier, that's something they were both lacking in their last game.
Those 2 road losses that each school had on the way to what looked like it was going to be a top 10 showdown between these 2 in-state rivals. Keith Appling 4 fouls. Travis Trice on the point for the Spartans. Green right block. Sees right over Novak for that pass. And the shot clock down at 14. Got Novak, who spent most of his Michigan career guarding guys bigger than him.
And he has done a terrific job on Green.
Oh, what a block by Burke. It comes to Thornton, who got caught in the traffic, and a foul called on Michigan.
Michigan State just fell into that because Trey Burke made a terrific defensive play. As you see Novak chasing, Trey Burke comes from the side. Really good play. Thornton just a little bit more alert than Hardaway Jr. getting to the basketball.
Austin Thornton, outstanding shooter, 34-38 at the line this year.
He's been huge in this game, Mike. He's done a nice job on the defensive end. He's knocked in a couple threes in the last 5-6 minutes.
You know, he played because other players were ineffective in the last game. Played 21 minutes, but didn't have an impact on it with just 3 points.
And they need him. He's a good shooter. He's a senior. We talked about Stuart Douglas starting the game because he's a senior. Thornton is a senior. This is your rival. You need to play well. It's what you're supposed to do.
All 8 of Thornton's points coming here in the second half. And I mentioned Tom Izzo had 4th timeout, so he can take one here and get his defense set with 2.5 to go and a 3-point Michigan State lead. And let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Well, good hands on 2 guys' part. Draymond Green down on the block, or excuse me, out on the perimeter here, spins to the block and finds Derek Nix. Everybody knows Draymond Green has terrific hands and passing skills, but Derek Nix much improved in that area as well. Not the pass, but the finish.
This is a rivalry that Michigan State has dominated and controlled. You remember back to the Michigan problems after the Fab 5 era of the sanctions that were out there and everything else that happened to give it a very difficult chance for Tommy Amaker to rebuild this program after Brian Elliott left. Here's Jimmy King 20 years ago. The Fab 5 got to the national championship game as freshman, but there's no Final Four banner up here from those 2 appearances. Those were vacated because of the NCAA violations. Well, in that stretch, there's the championship season, Glenn Rice in '89. In that time, this state's been dominated in basketball by Michigan State, 14 straight NCAA appearances. But Tommy Amaker did a heck of a job in his 6 years of building a foundation. John Beilein in his 5 has been to the NCAA tournament 2 of the last 3 years. Kind of even out this rivalry a little bit. And Michigan's going for 3 in a row against State. Hardaway on the drive, 1-point game.
That's a statement. John Beilein out of the timeout. Take the ball one way, reverse it to your best athlete. In this case, Hardaway Jr. Go one-on-one.
Spartans trailed by 11 with 12 minutes left. It's been a 12-point swing since. And a 1-point game as we hit the 2-minute mark. Izzo tells Draymond Green, come on over here. Let's set something up with 10 on the clock and a timeout. And Tom's got 2 left now.
I think you got to get Keith Appling into the ball game here. 2 things, one of 2 things is going to happen out of this timeout, Mike. A high ball screen on the side, left to right, bringing Appling into the lane, or a screen-to-screener type action, running a player off Draymond Green on the left block to the corner, hit the cutter, throw it in to Green on the left block.
Some of that screening action you talked about tonight.
Well, they like this. They like going left to right with Keith Appling going into the lane. It's been very effective. Now they flatten out the ball screen just to give it a different look. And Appling, again, terrific going to his right. Now Green going to his left. Green can go either way. If you're Michigan, you can't let Appling go to his right. You have to force him back into help, back to his left.
Appling, Wood, the freshman out of Detroit, Kearney. Draymond Green and Thornton to trigger.
Wow.
Isn't it great?
Wow, this is awesome.
This is every night in the league. The games are tight. The buildings are good. The students back on campus. Appling held it by Burke. He lost it off his foot. That's backcourt, and it's Michigan ball. Izzo thinks that it was deflected by Burke and then over midcourt. But I think there was a dribble afterwards by Appling that put it off his own foot to go backcourt.
He dribbled, exactly right. He dribbled it off his own foot into the backcourt, and Tom Izzo had no way of seeing that. We saw it perfectly sitting online.
Watch it here. Yeah, he's got it back. There was no touch by Burke at all. And Tom was all the way down by the baseline waiting to watch the screen down there. So here we go. .45 left. Spartans by 1. Wolverines ball. Hardaway's been cold. Likes it late. Burke, the freshman, for 3, and the lead. Rebound by Appling, and Michigan State needs to run good offense.
Mike, that was great defense by Draymond Green. He took away the drive 2 different times.
Both teams at 6 fouls. So any foul not in the act is 1-1. Appling the sophomore, Burke the freshman. Appling takes him, goes to the basket, got stuck in the air. Still plenty of shot clock time. It's at 11. Now down to 8. Appling wants another shot at Burke. Shoots over him. It's short. Nobody got the rebound. It hit the floor and comes back to Wood. Final minute. Spartans by 1. And everybody on their feet here in Ann Arbor. Michigan State plus 13 on the boards in the second half. What's made this program great for years. Appling in the lane. Leaner, no. Who's got the rebound? It's Burke from Michigan. Chased down by Kearney. Got Douglas. Got the basket. Timeout, Spartans coming. Wolverines by 1. Dan, you said it at the very top, Stu Douglas, a guy who was a senior, been in the lineup, back in the starting lineup, makes a big play late.
Yeah, he does, but so does Trey Burke, just forces the action. Again, because he's low, he's able to get off balance, Mike, and make a great pass to a sprinting Stu Douglas.
And brought everybody to him as well because of Burke's ability to finish.
Yeah, many times when you're in transition, you want to stop at the elbow, but he forced it, and because he's low, a lot of guys would have traveled right there because it was pretty good defense by Green getting back. A lot of point guards would have got off balance, made a bad play, but because Burke is low, he's able to keep balance, make a play. Last time on a side out of bounds, Mike, they ran what we talked about, a little baseline cut off Draymond Green, and Green was open, and Thornton missed it. We'll see if they go to it again on the side. This has to go on the block to Draymond Green in the last 30 seconds.
About a second and a half difference between the game and the shot clock. Been almost 4 minutes since the Spartans have scored a field goal. Spartans will keep that 5 out on the floor. Nix is out there now with Green, Thornton, Wood, and Appling. Douglas and Novak, the seniors, join Jordan Morgan, Tim Hardaway Jr., and the freshman point guard, Trey Burke.
Key here for Novak to play good defense on the block without fouling.
And he's got Green. He's given up size. But that's been the story of Zach Novak's Michigan career. We're down to 20 seconds left.
Going to the right block.
Thornton. Green gets double. Skip it to Wood. Bounce to Nix. Out to Appling. Clock at 11. Appling. Blocked by Morgan. Wood's got it. Shot clock doesn't reset. It's at 7. It's Wood tied up at the top. Draymond Green with 3 to shoot and 2 to shoot. Green for the lead. Off the rim, no. Rebound tip. No good. Game over. Michigan wins. Basket before they leave the floor. Tom Izzo came to talk to them, and now the officials are leaving, and the game is over. Remember, Big East tournament last year, we had officials leaving early before checking the clock. I don't know if it was a question of a shot clock issue or what the officials were discussing, but they had a conversation making sure they were comfortable that the game was over. There was nothing to review, and Michigan beats Michigan State for the 3rd consecutive time.
What a defensive effort here in the last possession, Mike. Nobody from Michigan State could get past anybody from Michigan. Green got a look, but look how off balance he is. Shoots it to the left. And then on the tip, no good. Tom Izzo, don't know if he tried to get a timeout late because he was complaining about something, but you see the off balance look. And then the tip.
And everything happened right. Shot clock resetting, anything for the intensity and everything else from Tim Hardaway Jr. and Michigan. Got great efforts from the seniors, Novak and Douglas, and Denard Robinson, the football star. jumping up and down like the rest of the student body. It's a Wolverine win, and Samantha Steele has the head coach of Michigan.
Coach is busy dancing. Coach, obviously a big win for you. There are so many changes in momentum in the second. What enabled you to be successful?
Our defense down the clutch. They really got us there for a while, and they made their threes. We had open threes. We missed them. They had some open threes. They made them. That was the difference. But when our defense got going, right, then we made the stops we had to have.
How are they able to control their emotions? And obviously this place is live right now, and you're looking for them to maybe settle down a little.
Yeah, there were sometimes we just played out, just didn't play with the control we needed to beat a great team. Like Coach Izzo's team, Michigan State, they are a really, really good team. So we really feel good about the win.
When you get into the locker room right now, what's your message for your guys?
I will smile a lot because they will smile a lot. I don't have to say anything. We know what just happened out here today.
All right, thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
All right, Sam, good having you with us here in the Big Ten. So Illinois is the only team in the conference with one loss. Everybody else has two. And it's beat up your brother in the Big Ten this year.
Every night, every game comes down to what we saw this evening. The Big Ten is so competitive, so tough. You're going to see it every night.
Arkansas, Kentucky coming up next with Dan Dockich, Samantha Steele, Mike Tirico. Wolverines win by 1. Presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Carl Ravitch, Stephen Bardo in the studio.